but I already knew. You see what I'm saying? Hoes. She should already know too, she the matter. But we're not gonna go there. So I said, okay. So I end up finishing my joint, going ahead into the third pig's crib. Now this pig, Bacon loved to play hard to get. Do you hear me? This pig's house was made of bricks. A lot smarter than the brothers and a way better lover. I knew she couldn't resist a damsel in distress. So I yipped at the door, sexy piglet, daddy, sexy piglet. Sugar honey pie, let me come in. She say, not by the hair of my fine ass chin. What? I thought I heard a scuffle. So I zagged round back. Speaking of the devil, here he appeared. Here come the wolf slack right here, parked behind the third pig crib. I said, shit. I smell smoke from the chimney. My curiosity starting to peak, so I'm going back around front. Sexy baby, oh, come on, daddy, sugar daddy, love it, baby. Let me come in. Help me out. He cracked open the door with a devilish grin. She cracked open the door with a devilish grin replied, only if you let me hit them skins. So, well now, of course I obliged and strolled on inside. Shit, the house was smelling good. Smelled like stew or something. Made a little small talk. Where Wolf at? I see his lack parked around back. Third pig say, that motherfucker is in the stew. He tried to huff and puff and call my bluff. I wouldn't let him in. So he came down the chimney and right into my boiling pot. Shit was so hot he died instantly. I tried calling my brothers to tell them that we was gonna have meat tonight, but he must have got to them first. Shut up! Shut up, girl, no! Not your brothers! The madam would be glad for sure about Wolf being gone, but the suspect to the missing brothers is now dead. I pull that pig by her chin hairs and I say, is it true you can orgasm for 30 minutes? Honey, I tell you, that pig had me too. From the bedroom to the bathroom to the basement to the attic to the bedroom to the bathroom. Oh, we did it all over the place. That bitch must have been coming for 45 minutes. I swear, 45 minutes. Just coming for 45 minutes. Coming for 45 minutes. Imagine that, for 45 minutes. Coming for 45 minutes. Okay, we're there, right? So I'm like, goddamn, I get me in a good stroke. I'm all in the good stroke, and unbeknownst to me, my wig falls off. She gets to squealing. I started howling, and the next thing you know, she was dead. Ain't no sense in wasting good meat. So I ate her ass. I fixed my fit and went on out. Got to walking 2 blocks away from the madam's lot. I just so happened to spot Henny Penny, Goosey Lucy, Turkey Lurkey, Cocky Locky, and Lucky Ducky. My eyes got so big, I had to switch my fit.
Word.
It's poultry in motion. What's all the commotion, you fly bird? Henny Penny rolled a joint and said, I was smoking a fatty. You know, like this when the sky fell and busted me on my dome. So I'm going to go tell the madam what's going on. Yes, I know, a 5-course meal! I hit the joint and said, ooh, girl. It's too good to be true. I want to see what the madam gonna do. So, Henny Penny, Goosey Loosey, Turkey Lurkey, Cocky Locky, Lucky Ducky, and myself, Foxy Loxy, continued on our way to tell the madam of the house. Henny Penny was cold chilling, smoking a fatty, when out of the sky, something fell and cracked her on her head.
Give it up one more time for childhood stories. So we're going to take a few minutes to have a brief talk back. If we have questions from the audience, oh, thank you.
They don't like that.
No, they do not. So this is a piece that's been a work in progress for some time now, and that started as a poem. Started as an idea, started as a story,
Come
and
here,
then
monkey.
became poem, and now become show.
Hi, baby. How you doing?
Hey, Zay.
Sorry, that's my godson. I gotta say hi.
So, how did we get to where we are now?
Well, so I wrote Henny Penny. Henny Penny was an idea that started in like 2000, to be honest and tell you the truth. I started it and I didn't really complete writing Henny Penny as a poem or a story until 2004. And at the time I was really big into slam. And so you have to get your poem into 3 minutes and 10 seconds. And it was a full story at the time with all the descriptions, like some of the descriptions you hear in the rest of the story was happening in the original Henny Penny also. And so I had to make it into a 3 minute and 10 second poem. So I cut it down and I just went to the library and found all the versions of Henny Penny that I could find. And I copied one version of the way the story was told. And it made it easier to be repetitive in that sense if you followed along. And there's several different endings to the actual story of Henny Penny. And so I picked the one where it's an open-ended, you just really don't know what happened. You have no idea. So that's how Henny Penny came about.
All right. I'll take questions from the audience. Anybody? Because I can keep going, trust me. I have a long-standing affection with this piece. Yes.
Who's your favorite character?
It's any given day, right? Most of the time, Foxy Loxy is my favorite character in the story of Henny Penny and the encompassing of it. But if you're asking me who my favorite character is for me as a person, Lucky 7 is my favorite character. She's the one who gets me in the most trouble, but is the most, I think, I've used her from a lot longer, so her personality, I feel like, is my favorite.
Okay.
How much prep did you put in the show?
Oh shit. So this is year two that this is the second time that I've done it. This show I've been prepping, when did we do our first meeting? In July? I've been prepping since July of last year. And I really got solid into the things that I was going to do in the last like 2 months, and then the last 30 days. I had a show before this one, so I had to kind of pause so I could really give the one show its thing. So I took the last 30 days. I've rehearsed 2 to 3 days a week, and not to include putting my recordings in my ear and sleeping with it, so I could keep it in my mind.
What made you start doing drag?
I stopped doing slam. No, okay, so real speak, this is what happened. Since the 90s, since the Bench and Bar on 11th Street, so this is how old I am, it dates me, but since the Bench and Bar on 11th Street, Sundays at the Bench and Bar on 11th Street were drag shows, and there were very rarely any dudes being shown anyway, and I really wanted to do something, but I was really kind of not there. So I've been wanting to do it for that long. And then my buddy Alex UN who's here in the audience, Alex UN had their first Kingdom like contest where they were trying to like bring in more brothers, you know? And so I was like, well, fuck it, let me try. And so I created El Sevan, and that's how I got into drag.
When's your next drag show?
The 29th. The 29th in San Francisco with superheroes. It's superheroes. It's a superhero themed. I can give you more information. My phone is dying. Me or Alex can give you more information on where it's gonna be, but it's in San Francisco on the 29th.
Fluxus.
Huh?
Bar Fluxus.
Bar Fluxus.
All right, Captain.
I have a question about why Foxy Loxy doesn't get in the Cadillac and drive off instead of walking off.
Because if I get in the Cadillac, then I'm busted. Why I walk. If I walk, I get to see everything. If I'm driving, I don't get to see everything. I don't get to hear everything. When you walk in, your nose is to the ground, you get more information that way. So Foxy walks to walk off all the goddamn food he be eating all the time. That's why Foxy walks and not drive. Gotta stay fit.
What made you decide to turn this into a full-length production? Because these started as different pieces, and what brought it together for you?
Well, okay. In 2006, pretty terrible. Yes. Okay. That's damn shame. So in 2006, I went to Costa Rica for 6 weeks. On that trip, because I was in a different world, I was able to create a world. It's called Bougainville. Bougainville is pretty much similar to East Palo Alto. It has 4 sections: the Ville, Midtown, the Gardens. The Gardens is now the Woods. Flood Estate. Flood Estate is gonna stay Flood Estate because that's where the madam stays. Like, I pretty much made this world, and I was like, okay, so how do I wanted Foxy Loxy, I wanted more stories. So how do I get those stories, and who's telling those stories? So I decided to take Foxy Loxy out and tell some more stories about what happened. So basically that's how I started it. And then I met Tara Hardy in 2009, and she made me pinky promise that I would finish writing these stories. And again, another 10 years, they got sat on. The things that are really important to me, I end up sitting on because I'm not ready, or I don't feel like what I've written is good enough. Also, at the time that I had written it in the first place, I wasn't as good an editor as I am now. I wasn't as patient and as thoughtful. And I think working with KJ as a writer, Laura Yes as a writer, that team, and then Team 2009 like helped me get to a better editing space. So when I did come back to sit and look, I had already had the stories completed and didn't realize it. All I needed to do was edit them. So it took me probably 6 months to edit them. And then I was just like, okay, how do I make this a whole thing? And I was like, okay, I have to figure out, I think the one thing where it worked tonight was figuring out how to get Foxy Loxy to tell the story, because why would Foxy Loxy tell you anything? Right? So it was a matter of how do I get Foxy Loxy to tell things. So I figured if I interview everybody, then there's more likelihood of telling the story.
Yeah.
We'll start with you. Yes,
Can
Sophia.
I ask one more question?
Of course.
How does this tie into the theme of resistance?
There's no gender here. Each character is something different in the sense of gender, and we are in a space of resisting titles in the sense of resisting what the gender binary means. It's also sticking with resistance by showing how to be safe with safe sex advocacy, resisting the urge, resisting urges to not be safe. So I think that the way I'm coming across to resist is to show in a different way to just show what resistance looks like instead of saying I'm resisting, just show what that looks like. And hopefully I conveyed some resistance to the gender binary by being able to switch back and forth, and also Lucky Seven with her angst.
When you first spoke, Henny Penny, did you know that it was the phone that hit her head? Because I've heard that poem a lot of times.
No.
It was the phone.
No. The phone came in 2016. That's when it came. So no, still didn't know. I had no idea what had hit Henny Penny. Swear to God, she was just a high ass bitch talking. Swear, because when you read the story that I copied off of, when you read that story, it's an acorn, but you still are left with Henny Penny was sitting under a tree and something fell and hit her on the head, and you're still not sure if it's an acorn or not. They don't really leave this clear thing. But no, I didn't know it was a cell phone until Foxy Loxy said so. So Foxy Loxy decided that his cell phone was gonna hit her in the head.
And El Savant, where did that come from?
El Savant, the name, or
Yeah, all of it. And how did you decide to integrate that into this piece?
again, El Savant came from just trying to do drag. And thank you. She probably wants to reply. Thank you. Just trying to do something different. And then, so what happened was Alex and I met before the San Francisco Drag King contest last year, and we talked, and he gave me some suggestions, or they gave me some suggestions, and I said, cool. And I went with the suggestions, did it in my way, in my tone of voice, which I felt was like, yeah, this will work. And so what I wanted to do was, I have a political voice that you don't hear as a person. You don't hear my politics. As a poet, you don't hear my politics. And it's for a reason. It's because I'm a very militant, pro-black, blah, blah, blah type of black person when it comes down to it. But I don't show it in a way that is off-putting, because it can be off-putting, because it used to be off-putting. So I just kind of relaxed on using any of my politics in anything, and now El Savant is my political voice. Mm-hmm. So all that, if you were paying attention to the videos, and if you really looked at the videos, what was happening in the videos while the songs were going on, I purposefully was trying to ensure that he is telling a story of how he feels and how those songs tie in from whatever the song lyrics were made him feel, the video came with that. And so that's where he's the political voice that I usually don't use. And I felt like if I'm gonna spend 60 minutes or have the time to spend in a show, then show aspects of myself. I'm narcissistic, I guess. Why not? I have enough characters. I'm a pretty decent actor, I think. I figure I can try to pull it off, and I hope I did.
Clearly so.
Yes, you did.
Okay.
And I want to say something because they're being modest, they won the contest.
Yes, I saw the crown. One more question.
Right here.
Is that a real hand? Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So I actually kind of have two questions.
That's fine.
One, I'm wondering a little bit more about like if you're imagining a certain character interviewing the characters,
Mhm.
and also if you have any plans to do like any more exploration into the madam.
Okay. First question again?
Interviewer.
Interviewer. So I totally, I had a plan. Trust me, I had a plan. I totally had, what I wanted was like a screen here and a nerdy me, like sexy librarian me interviewing myself, because I wanted it to totally be a one-person show. I didn't want, not that I don't want any help or not that I don't want anybody to work with me, because I do. That's not it. I just wanted to see what it would look like for me to do everything and how that would feel for me. And so because my time was getting cut short and the video production stuff was like, I was like, this was where I was gonna need somebody to film me and the timing and the da-da-da-da-da with the questions. I was like, how can I make it easier for myself to transition for this particular show? So that's how I did that. But yes, I definitely do see someone actually interviewing and talking to the characters. And then the madam, the actual truth is, my plan is to like really explore other fairy tales and figure out how I can give everybody their own story, but also give everybody the story that allows them to be in, and allow Henny Penny to be in that story with them too. So each character, so the idea, this is what's happening in my head. So the idea is for example, Lucky Ducky. What was Ducky doing that day? And how long did it take her to get to the actual part where she sees Henny Penny? And that's where her story can stop, right? Is where she sees them and it's this, and then they keep going and then they run into Foxy Loxy. So you see what I'm saying? So I'm wondering, how do I get everybody together? So that's my next kind of like chore in what I do, but it's just pretty much figuring out what fairy tales can I play with and manipulate.
And if we wanted to find out more information about you or contact you or buy a book or a CD, how would we do that?
You can reach me at there's SevanKelee.com, and in your programs, in the flyer is my email, lsevan with a 7. lsevan@gmail.com is another way to reach me. If you want to buy books or whatever, you can always, I didn't bring any product with me today because I was just rushing and just getting here doing it. So, but yeah.
What's the name of your book?
The name of my book right now is called Unclaimed, and it's an art and words book that I created. It's a memoriam sort of to, it started as a tribute to the Hurricane Katrina victims, and it just kind of expanded from there. So that's my art and words book, and I just have my CD of old stuff.
You want to tell us one amazing thing about that book? That it makes it unlike many other of its kind?
What is that?
Forward the records.
Oh, right. You can read it, you can look at it forward or backwards. It doesn't matter. You can read it this, you can read it left to right or right to left. Because it's art and words. One side is all art and words, the other side is the actual poem. On that side of the page, you will see the date it was written, whether the poem was written first or the picture was drawn first. And it just kind of, when I first started the book, I started it for the 30-30. If you're familiar with writing things, 30-30 is April, the National Writing Month, Poetry Writing Month. And so the first 11 days got stolen. No, the first 7 days got stolen. And they were in an 8x10 book, which was going to be so badass. But anyway, it got stolen, so I put it in a smaller book because I was feeling some kind of way. And so I was able to pull out, my spirit gave me some of those things that were stolen back to me. And then I continued from there. So you'll see where I'm talking to myself in the sense of this is how I was feeling during those days. But it's a really cool book. I like it.
Y'all put your hands together one more time. Thank you so much for being here. Again, surveys. We have pencils.
Pencils,
They're
fill out them
very, very
surveys.
important. They're